Skyrim. Alright, that's about all I gotta say. You guys know what I mean. I'll catch you next time. Wait, what was that? The countless other videos on this topic weren't enough for you? You still don't really understand what it is about the Elder Scrolls that's kept you around all these years, even after putting thousands of hours into these games? And now that you've seen that epic montage, you either have to sit through at least a 10-minute video about the games or start another playthrough right now? Okay, I suppose I can talk some more. You know, I've been thinking a lot recently about something that I've come to call the Elder Scrolls effect. I'm sure every single one of you watching this video is aware of what I mean to some extent. It is, very simply, the irresistible gravitational pull that Elder Scrolls games seem to have. I mean, I've played so much Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim that in between playthroughs I struggle to imagine what I could possibly do next. Regardless though, I know that I will be playing each of them again, and honestly probably sometime soon. Why? I have never been satisfied with any answer to that seemingly simple question. Some answers seem obvious and are most likely partly true. You can claim that the game and quest design is good, and therefore you play it. Sure. Mostly. But I replay other games for their gameplay, like Elden Ring, and others for their story, like The Witcher 3. And when I think about it, I realize that I don't play Elder Scrolls games for those reasons, like at all. I mean, we love them, but come on. The storylines can be surprising sometimes and fun, but never really life-changing and thought-provoking. Gameplay, on the other hand, well, you know. Then there's other obvious answers that feel a bit closer to the truth. It could be the world building and the lore that draws us in. That's definitely true for me, but not everyone is as into the lore as some of us are, so I don't think that's the full picture either. Obviously, there's also things like the modding scene. I mean, I know that I and thousands of others love modding these games. Too much. But there are still plenty of people who play vanilla and also know the Elder Scrolls effect. So I don't think that explains it either. There's dozens of arguments that seem to work just like these, but don't really fit the bill. When brainstorming, I also thought of roleplay customability, nostalgia, and simply the graphical beauty of these titles, but I still wasn't sure that was the answer. Everything I came up with seemed too subjective. So I decided to launch Vanilla Skyrim just to see if I would stumble upon some sort of conclusion, some sort of answer to this thing that's been bugging me. And it hit me.
Gonna kill me! Archers! Anyone else?
The answer lies in the meme.
Step forward. Who are you?
As soon as Hadvar asked me this question, I felt a surge of excitement. I started thinking of which race I was going to be, which weapons I would use, which guild I wanted to join, whether or not I wanted to play the main quests to get shouts and dragons in this save. And it hit me. Who am I? That's it. These choices and the sandbox that they exist in are the flesh and bones of any Elder Scrolls game. I mean, think about it. Bethesda games have never really been about consequential choices in questing or gameplay, but they are excellent at creating what I like to call player agency. When you launch Skyrim for the 7,880th character, where do you go? When I pose that question, do you not get a little bit excited just thinking about it? That's it. That is the Elder Scrolls effect. Every moment of gameplay is an impactful choice. It is you weaving your character's story without even meaning to or trying. The games are designed around this foundation, that being the player deciding things. The settings of these games, their mechanics, and the lore are tools used to prop the player up into this position. In a way, they also remain fairly hands-off and open-ended. Even if you do study the Elder Scrolls lore a lot, you're only left with theories and half-truths. There are hardly ever excessive lore dumps with definitive facts about the world, which is exceedingly common in the modern market. Avowed. But Elder Scrolls titles are more similar to real-life history. When questioned about specifics, Elder Scrolls lorebeards often just end up saying, "Oh, well, yeah, these guys over here kinda believe in this thing, and those guys over there have a totally different story, which is equally as convincing, and they believe in some other thing because of that, so just go with either and have fun." Your character never exists in a vacuum. The world around you is not understood, and you are not playing a predetermined role like Geralt of Rivia. Each playthrough is unique. Sure, you may simply step into the shoes of the Nerevarine or the Last Dragonborn in your playthrough, but no one can tell you that the Last Dragonborn is also the leader of the Thieves Guild, for example. Rather, you can only ask what people's specific playthroughs look like, what they did. When you look at it this way, the Elder Scrolls is obviously designed as a canvas for the player. The game mechanics and lore are the colors, and you are the painter. People who only have 30 minutes before leaving for work can pick up a controller and get into some shenanigans. They can kill a chicken and stumble upon a tragic story where their friends are murdered and they end up in jail. Simultaneously, lore lovers like me can dive into the universe and create something meaningful and fun. A story we plan to follow, which may mirror our own life and ambitions. We can use it as an outlet, as most games allow, but the limitlessness of the Elder Scrolls allows for a true reflection of the player. This is similar even to Minecraft. You know the saying, if you are bored, it's because you lack imagination. And the Elder Scrolls, the same applies. What stories will you follow next, and who will you become? Many open world games can be compared in this way, but most fall short. I suppose what sets the Elder Scrolls apart, besides the fantasy setting, goofy characters, and bugs, is what players are actually doing. All too often, open world games force you to run around and collect 37 doohickeys for Professor Dombo, but Bethesda has for the most part succeeded in not falling into this trap. I believe that this is why Starfield fell short for so many people. The opportunity for adventure, the setbacks of being sidetracked by big scary dungeon over there looks cool, I'ma go. The essential formula of freedom was lost. It being lost makes me pretty confident in my answer. The Elder Scrolls effect, the gravitational pull of these games, has everything to do with freedom. An all too obvious conclusion and answer to my question. When you feel the urge to go launch and play these games, I believe what you are truly experiencing is the human urge to be free. The Elder Scrolls effect isn't simply a desire to go and play a good game. It is the awakening of a fundamentally human characteristic that is pushed all too far away in the busyness and insanity of our modern lives. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I was really surprised to return home earlier this week from a short trip and to see the support I've gotten on my last video. I'm currently sitting at just over 150 subscribers, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. I really appreciate all the kind words of encouragement and advice you guys have left. I've wanted to make videos for years now, and my first few attempts on this channel were definitely a bit wonky, so the recent support has been great motivation. So again, thank you. If you have any feedback, please let me know down below. I know I've got a lot to learn, and I also would love to hear your personal experiences and opinions on my interpretation of the Elder Scrolls effect. So let me know in the comments what you think. I've really enjoyed reading all of the messages on my last post, and I'll try to respond to as many of you guys as I can. For now, I've been Sir Schmip. I wish you all a beautiful day. Until next time.